Howdy and welcome to Razzle Monday Movie News. I'm your host, Zachary Maurer, and every Monday I'll be here to bring you the news you may have missed from Hollywood and the cinema near you. Now here is a bit of a warning. This will be a pretty Han Solo heavy episode of Razzle Monday Movie News. So sit back and stick around as we get started with our top stories from this past week. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are no longer directing the untitled Han Solo film. Phew, I said it. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Because here is where the story starts to get interesting and also a little bit hard to follow.
I got a bad feeling about this.
So this story all started off with Lucasfilm releasing a statement for the untitled Han Solo film. The statement reads as follows. The untitled Han Solo film will move forward with a directorial change. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are talented filmmakers who have assembled an incredible cast and crew, but it's become clear that we have different creative visions on this film, and we've decided to part ways. A new director will be announced soon, said Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. Lord and Miller stated in a similar statement, "Unfortunately, our vision and process weren't aligned with our partners on this project. We normally aren't fans of the phrase creative differences, but for once this cliche is true. We are really proud of the amazing and world-class work of our cast and crew," stated Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. So let's unpack this a little bit. The movie will no longer be directed by Lord and Miller. Both parties are citing creative differences for the split. Oh, and the Han Solo movie is still slated for a May 2018 release date. Oh, and this firing happened just 3 weeks before shooting was scheduled to end. And there was pretty extensive reshoots already scheduled. For being honest, all of this isn't that rare. I mean, in fact, it almost happened to Gareth Edwards. Oh, this story's just getting started. In fact, I think I feel it heating up pretty nicely, because our next report talks about how the duo were fired from apparent conflicts with Kathleen Kennedy. A source close to the issue said that it was a culture clash from day one. She didn't even like the way they folded their socks. It said that Kennedy did not approve of their shooting style or the way they interacted with their cast and crew. The source then goes on to say, Kathy, her team, and Larry Kasdan have been doing it their way for a very long time. They know how the cheese is made, and that's how they want it made. It became a very polarizing set. The story continued when it was announced on June 22nd that Academy Award-winning filmmaker Ron Howard would step in to finish directing the Han Solo film. A statement from Lucasfilm reads, "At Lucasfilm, we believe the highest goal of each film is to delight, carrying forward the spirit of the saga that George Lucas began 40 years ago," said Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. "With that in mind, we're thrilled to announce that Ron Howard will step in to direct the untitled Han Solo film. We have a wonderful script, an incredible cast and crew, and the absolute commitment to make it a great movie. Filming will resume the 10th of July. This is also tumultuous and crazy, but bear with me because we're really just getting started. It appears that this movie has been in some hot water for quite some time. Star Wars Newsnet reports that the first person to actually air concerns about the film was the film star Alden Ehrenreich, citing the screwball comedy angle the film was taking as one of his biggest concerns. He then approached producers who took to Kathleen Kennedy the real problems that were occurring on set. It appears this film's production was a total mess. Kasdan didn't like the way that Lord and Miller were going off script. Lord and Miller felt that they weren't getting any creative control. Lucasfilm fired editor Chris Dickens. Alden Ehrenreich was not living up to what Kathleen Kennedy and producers wanted, so they hired an acting coach for him. And the crew of the film even applauded when Lord and Miller were kicked off of the film. Wow, this is all incredibly crazy, and I'm not going to pick sides. I understand the incredible amount of pressure that Lucasfilm is under. I get it. They have to make a good movie here. Star Wars is incredibly important to so many people, and this just isn't another movie. This is a Star Wars movie. I get that, and I don't envy their position at all. But I also understand that Lord and Miller are very, very talented filmmakers, and I'm a big fan of their work. And at the end of the day, I think both parties just really wanted what was best. It's just that Lucasfilm wasn't interested in making a Lord and Miller movie, and Lord and Miller were more interested in making a Lord and Miller movie than they were in making a Star Wars movie. And as much as I would have wanted those two things to collide and to meet, because I'm a fan of both things so much, it just turns out that it wasn't a match made in heaven. And bringing on an incredibly talented filmmaker like Ron Howard, one that can certainly work within the constraints that Lucasfilm wants him to, is a win-win for both parties. And I'm just excited to see the movie that they're gonna make, but I really, really, really wish I could have seen that movie that they were going to make. At the end of the day, Lucasfilm is telling us that this movie will hit its May 2018 release date. And while I really hope that that's the case, I can't help but feel like they're taking a note from their old buddy Han Solo.
Everything's under control, situation normal. Everything's perfectly alright now. We're fine, we're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Now we move on to the segment of our show where we talk about the film trailers released during the past week. And before I provide some input on the trailers I'm most excited about, here's a rundown of the other trailers released during the past week. This week in trailers saw the release for the first trailer for Mark Webb's drama The Only Living Boy in New York, as well as the second trailer for David F. Sandberg's addition to the Conjuring verse, Annabelle Creation. The Trailer Fest continued with the release of the first trailer and first Red Band trailer for Dylan O'Brien and Michael Keaton's action thriller American Assassin, the first trailer for the Netflix dramedy To the Bone, and the first trailer for the Jackie Chan-led action thriller The Foreigner. Our week continued with an amazing trailer for the Thurgood Marshall biopic Marshall, led by the incredibly talented Chadwick Boseman, and an incredibly touching trailer #1 for Thank You for Your Service, a film that looks at the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder on our returning servicemen and women. Now we move on to the trailers I'm most excited about from the past week. Our first trailer is an intense trailer 1 for David Gordon Green's Stronger. Stronger stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Tatiana Maslany. This trailer admittedly made me tear up, and Gyllenhaal and Maslany look like they put on the performances of their careers, which is certainly saying something. But this story of life after the 2013 Boston bombing looks like something special, and I can't wait to catch it when it hits theaters on September 22nd, 2017. Our final trailer today is the first trailer in the final installment of the Pitch Perfect franchise, Pitch Perfect 3. Now while I didn't really like this trailer all that much, I felt like I had to include it in my trailer showcase here because the second installment of this franchise was actually the first film I ever reviewed for Razzle. Take a look. Hello interwebs, my name is Zach and I'm here from Razzle to... Look at that guy! What a goober! Sitting on a bed, reviewing a movie, crappy quality, terrible jokes. I'm glad that all changed. Well, the jokes stayed, but, well, I can't get rid of those. That's just me. But anyway, now this franchise has a special place in my heart. Pitch Perfect 3 hits theaters on December 22nd, 2017. Now we reach the part of our show where I'll briefly outline some of the smaller stories from the past week. And if you want to know more about each story, please click the link in the description box below. Variety reports that Daniel Day-Lewis, the only person to ever win 3 Best Actor Oscars, is retiring from acting. His spokeswoman, Leslie Dart, said in a statement, Daniel Day-Lewis will no longer be working as an actor. He's immensely grateful to all of his collaborators and audiences over the many years. This is a private decision, and neither he nor his representatives will make any further comment on this subject. Collider reports that John Watts will likely return to direct the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel. The Jurassic World Twitter page released a poster for the upcoming sequel and filled us in on the film's new title. Life finds a way when Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom finds its way into theaters on June 22nd, 2018. Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures released a synopsis for the upcoming Godzilla 2 in a statement that reads, the new story follows the heroic efforts of the cryptozoological agency Monarch as its members face off against a battery of god-sized monsters, including the mighty Godzilla, who collides with Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the three-headed King Ghidorah. When these ancient superspecies thought to be mere myths rise again, they all vie for supremacy, leaving humanity's very existence hanging in the balance. THR reports that the H Collective is planning another installment in the XXX franchise, titled XXX4. Variety sat down with co-runner of the DCEU, Jeff Johns, to talk about Wonder Woman 2, when he confirmed that he and Patty Jenkins are working on a treatment for the second film. THR reports that Christopher Nolan's upcoming war drama, Dunkirk, is only 1 hour and 47 minutes long, his shortest film since his first feature, Following. Collider reports that the 8th installment in the Saw franchise, Saw Legacy, just received a new title, Jigsaw. Variety reports that Wonder Woman has now become the highest grossing live-action film ever directed by a woman. The incredible superhero film just passed a record set by Phyllida Lloyd, director of Mamma Mia, which made a whopping $609.8 million. LEGO released a new poster and synopsis for the upcoming LEGO Ninjago movie. The synopsis reads, in this big screen Ninjago adventure, the battle for Ninjago City calls to action young master builder Lloyd, aka the Green Ninja, along with his friends, who are all secret ninja warriors. Led by Master Wu, as wisecracking as he is wise, they must defeat evil Lord Garmadon, the worst guy ever, who also happens to be Lloyd's dad. Pitting mech against mech and father against son, the epic showdown will test this fierce but undisciplined team of modern-day ninjas who must learn to check their their egos and pull together to unleash their inner power of spin jitsu. Collider reports that Andre Muschietti's It remake has received an R rating from the MPAA for violence/horror, bloody images, and language. With unwanted Autobots and second week holdovers, the weekend box office ended up like this. Coming in at number 1 in the weekend box office is the 5th installment in the Transformers franchise, Transformers The Last Night, making $45.3 million in its first week in the box office. Coming in at number 2 is Disney Pixar's Cars 3, making $25.2 million in its second week at the box office, bringing its domestic total up to $99.8 million. Coming in at number 3 in the box office is Warner Brothers' Wonder Woman, making $25.2 million in its fourth week of release, bringing its domestic total up to $318.4 million. Coming in at number 4 is the shark horror film 47 Meters Down, making $7.4 million in its second week of release, bringing its domestic total to $24.3 million. And rounding out the top 5 is the Tupac Shakur biopic All Eyes on Me, making $5.85 million in its second week at the box office, bringing its domestic total to $38.6 million. Every week, we here at Razzle like to finish off our show with opening this week. It's a very busy week for new releases, with a Wednesday, June 28th release of Edgar Wright's newest film Baby Driver and a Netflix release of Bong Joon-ho's new film Okja. This comes just 2 days before the wide releases for the animated sequel Despicable Me 3 and the Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler comedy The House. Rounding out opening this week, we have the limited releases of the Nun comedy The Little Hours and the biographical drama 13 Minutes. Make sure to pick up your tickets for these films when they drop in theaters this Friday, June 30th, 2017. Thank you everyone for watching. If you like the show, please make sure to like and share this episode and come back here to Razzle for all of our amazing content being released here weekly. Next week, we will not have an episode of Razzle Monday Movie News due to the holiday. I'm Zachary Maurer. Follow me on Twitter at IamMaurer. Follow Razzle on Twitter at Razzle Review, and I'll catch you here in 2 Mondays.